I'm Helen Wallace, and I'm here at the Langham Hotel in London with Joshua Bell and Harvey de Souza. And this is the first in a series of Google Hangouts that the Academy of St. Martin's are doing. And of course, Joshua Bell is the music director of the Academy of St. Martin, and principal first violinist is Harvey de Souza. And we're joined by 6 friends from around the world for this first Google Hangout. And they'll be joining the discussion as we go on. So I wanted to start, Joshua, by asking that you've released a recording recently of Beethoven's 4th and 7th symphonies, and there are many, many recordings out there now. And why did you feel it was right for you to do another one?
When I became music director, we thought, let's make a recording, and it was the most obvious thing to do because it's what we did the most, and we really felt like we were in a place where we could do it. And I know it was rather bold. My first statement as a music director to do Beethoven, which has been done so many times. Everything's been done thousands of times. Everything's been recorded, been performed. So you have to feel like you've got something really important to say. I guess you have to have a very big ego, I guess, to get up on stage and say, we're going to show you how to play Beethoven's 7th Symphony, which everyone has heard a million times. But the fact of the matter is, there's so many ways to play this music, and I've heard countless recordings. But even after hearing countless recordings, I still feel, there's something more, than something individual that we can say that we're doing that I think is people should hear, and I still feel that way. And some may say that's big ego. I don't know, but it's very important that you have that feeling, that for it to be convincing. And some people will like ours, some people will prefer others, but that's what's so great about classical music, is that you can hear these stories retold over and over again.
And Harvey, can you tell us a bit about how the Academy of St. Martin's works? Because it's not your average orchestra, is it?
No, it isn't. In fact, I think the founding ethos of the Academy is based in chamber music. And I think that when Sir Neville Marriner started this orchestra, I think he got tired. It was a time in the history of music in the 1940s and 50s where everything was done huge scale. So they were doing, the performances of Handel's Messiah done with, 1,000-piece chorus and 2 symphony orchestras, and it was all this very, very big stuff. And I think Neville, who was actually the principal second violin of the London Symphony Orchestra at that time, got a little bit bored of all of this, and he wanted to get back to something that was much more intimate and making the connection with chamber music again. And so he started this, and it has always been an ethos of that. And as it has progressed, it just seemed natural, that now that we have Josh on board and doing the Beethoven symphonies, for example, we approach it in a very chamber music fashion, and that's the most exhilarating as a musician to be part of a symphony. To play a huge symphony like that is something else. I don't think, I had never experienced it before.
This orchestra plays like just a big chamber ensemble, like playing a string quartet, that everybody sits on the edge of their seat and everybody's interacting and involved. And I just don't, myself, I've been playing with orchestras for 30 years, and I don't get that kind of feeling normally when I play with an orchestra.
What are some similarities and differences between being a concert violinist and a music director?
Well, I guess I never label myself as a concert violinist, even though that's what I do a lot of the time. I'm a musician, and I play sometimes with a concerto with orchestra, with a conductor, sometimes without a conductor. Sometimes I play chamber music, which has always been a big passion in my life. So directing a symphony is sort of an extension of everything I do. When I lead this orchestra, I sit in the concertmaster chair and I lead, and in the rehearsal today, I played about half the time. I was standing up directing, but most of the time in concert, I'm playing along with them, and it just feels very organic. And but obviously, when you play a symphony, you have to really be involved in every aspect of the piece. You have to really know every instrument, and I would have to say, as a soloist, though, you really should be that way as well.
I wanted to know what is the biggest misconception people have about your profession?
Biggest misconception is that you have to be knowledgeable to hear music. Or there's this kind of elitist attitude towards classical music, and I think that is a huge misconception. Of course, like anything, like whether it's if you have a love for painting, or if you have a love for pop music, or any kind of art form, when you're drawn into it, and the more you get to know about it, you just very personally you get more back from it. But I think it's completely wrong to think that it cannot speak to you, even if you don't know anything. Because I believe that any great art form speaks to you. It has a relevance to your life, and you find it. It might be a phrase in a Mozart symphony that you've never heard before that will make you cry because you suffered a tragedy in your life, or whatever it might be, and there's some kind of connection you have with that, or as the joyness of a Beethoven scherzo, whatever it might be, or it's looking at a great painting, whether it's Lucian Freud or it's Rembrandt, whatever it might be. If it invokes an emotional reaction in you, the job is done.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, and for Joshua Bell for being here, and Harvey Souza. And it's time for us to wrap this up. Thanks again for being with us. Do look out for the CD of Beethoven's 4th and 7th Symphonies, which is really fantastic. It's out on the Sony label now. And they'll be playing Beethoven's 5th Symphony on Tuesday at Cadogan Hall in London.